Your eyes and your vision are under attack, damaging blue light from the sun. Your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information. With more screen usage and indoor time, myopia, also known as nearsightedness, is increasing and getting worse in children. Now, certified eye doctors can prescribe MiSight One Day, the first and only FDA-approved soft contact lens to slow myopia progression in age-appropriate children. Visit CooperVision.com to find a Brilliant Futures certified eye doctor near you. Do your patients know what presbyopia is?
There are people who are afraid of the press.
Have you talked to your patients about multifocal contact lenses?
I've heard the bifocal, but not multifocal.
Exactly, not multifocal.
Do you need help with your multifocal strategy? Learn more at the conclusion of this episode. Hello and welcome to the Open Your Eyes podcast. I'm Dr. Kerry Geld, the host of the documentary Open Your Eyes. If you're new here and you like our interviews, press like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to get notifications of great new interviews. Also, please leave comments. Great news, you can now watch our full-length documentary Open Your Eyes on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube Movies and Shows. Young baseball fans who grew up in the 50s and 60s and for years after idolized the great Mickey Mantle. We copied his batting stance, had the same haircut, wore his famous number 7, collected his baseball cards, and imitated his home run trot. Mickey, one of the all-time great baseball players, wanted to be remembered as a true teammate. Recently, his rookie baseball card sold for $12.6 million. Mickey was blessed with 4 sons. Today's guest, Mickey's second-born son, David, joins us today. David, what an honor. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, sir. We're proud to be here, and we're just glad that people keep asking to talk to us. You know, it helps keep Dad's name out there.
So I got to ask you, the first thing I want to ask you is, what did you think when his baseball card was sold for $12.6 million?
Why didn't we own it? That's what I thought. But you know, it's funny. Our family, we have never had the rookie card in our possessions. Not one of his sons, or maybe Dad when he signed with Topps back then. Maybe they sent, because Danny, I think my little brother told me that they did send. Now with them we do get cards, but back then he said they sent them too. So knowing Dad, he might have gave them away.
Wow. So what is it about your father that people idolized? He was almost like a mythical superhero type figure. Why do you think that happened?
I don't know. I think a lot of it was, with the generation he came up with, when they were Dad's age, that was during some hard times, really, just getting out of World War II. And, also with his injuries, like Billy Crystal said, he would try to run like him around the bases. It's just people wanted to be just like him and act just like him. Well, in some ways. But it's hard to, I need to ask what, I've been doing card shows every other month. I go there and I'd sign a picture of Danny, me and Dad. It was for it's a great picture of us at the restaurant when it was still there. And of course, my other brothers weren't around, but so I take that and I sign it, and I love giving it to the young fans. I mean, there was a little 7-year-old girl and an 8-year-old her brother, their dad had brought him in, and I signed him that picture and everything. And he goes, "She's got a crush on you."
Well, you always resembled your dad quite a bit. I'm sure people would mistake you for your dad.
I know. I probably should have shaved.
So as you were growing up and watching your dad play baseball, was it just something like, well, it's just my dad, or did you realize how special of a baseball player he really was?
It was just our dad, and that's how he, acted with us. It was, I tell you what, it was really special though. How many other kids, of course, we got the Whitey Fords and, other players like that. But, we got to go up to New Jersey, during some of the seasons, and we would rent a house up there and stay. But then, who else would get to go to spring trainings almost every year? And, there's a lot of things we got to do. And I enjoyed getting to spring training. I always considered it was a family, because I got down there. I couldn't wait to see the kids, or, the other ball players' kids. And then, of course, the wives hung out and the players hung out. I always said it was really a family.
So of all the players that your father played with, who was like the nicest player to the kids? They used to come over and talk with the kids.
I think Phil Rizzuto. He was great. But, Whitey always had a joke. And, oh, God, when Billy would come to visit, Billy Martin, he always had something to do. I remember one joke with them. We were going to go out to dinner, and, Billy was with us. And so before we left the house, I was standing right there when they said it. Billy goes, "Okay." Billy had already planned this, and we haven't even left the house. And he goes, "Hey, Mick, are we going to sign autographs tonight or something like that? Do you want to or not?" And Billy goes, "I don't really want to." He goes, "Okay, we won't sign." So we get there, and we're at the restaurant. Here comes somebody over. "Man, Mick, can I get your autograph?" He goes, "Nah, man, I'm not signing that." Billy goes, "Here, I'll sign that."
So they would always tease each other.
Oh, Billy and Dad, I tell you what, I think it drove Mom nuts though, because Billy would go hunting with us. He, if he wasn't married at the time or whatever, he would come stay with us, for sometimes for the off seasons. Not the whole time, but we had a room set up for him, and he'd come stay with us, and he'd cook all these big meals, and he'd make this big mess. And I mean, he'd had this pot that's, covered the whole stove, and he'd be throwing all kinds of Italian stuff in there. And man, all I know is Mom goes, "Yeah, he's a great cook, but he doesn't clean up."
So what do you think it was about Billy Martin that made him such a good manager?
Oh God, he just knew the game. I mean, he analyzed every bit of it. And Billy Martin Jr., thank God, I love getting to see him. At that card show, he showed up too and hung around. But they live over in Arlington, Texas, which is not too far from Dallas. And so, man, we get to see him a lot, which is great. And it's just always fun with him. But I've talked to Billy a little bit about it. But it's like he said, he was 3 steps ahead of the other managers.
When your father came up to the Yankees, it was said that Joe DiMaggio really wasn't very nice to him. Is that the true story, or?
Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Joe, and in case he's got some fans out there, but Joe was just a kind of a quiet person. I think I never got to meet him, but I just think that I don't know. I don't think it was. It was kind of his last years too and anything, so he might not have been happy about, having to retire. But Joe was not really very accepting. Like Dad got a rookie come to the team, man, he'd take them out to dinner and get to know them and, make sure they were, okay and all that stuff.
Who do you think today of all the baseball players was the most like your father?
I don't know, man. When you think it, there was Bobby Mercer. He got to play center field for the Yankees too. After Dad left. So I mean, speaking of that, the Mercer family, they were up in Oklahoma City. They have since his passing, they've moved to Dallas too. So we were at the game. They played the Rangers the last 3 or 4 games of the season here in the new ballpark in Arlington. But we were sitting with the Martins and the Mercers, and it was a great time.
I remember when Bobby Mercer came up to the Yankees with Jerry Kenny and toward the end of your dad's career. And, you know, I was kind of toward the end of your dad's career, and I was actually at Mickey Mantle Day in 1969. Were you, I guess all the boys, were you guys all there?
No, I can't remember if any of us got to go. It was I know. Oh, wait, for Mickey Mantle Day, I think Mickey Jr. got to go.
And of all your brothers, who was like who played baseball? Who liked to play?
I can't brag about my older brother enough. I swear. Besides taking care of us, and you know, Dad always told him, you know, when I'm gone, you make sure everybody's okay and you watch Mom. But man, Mickey Jr., he could play golf. I remember even when we were in school, he played kickball, and there was a picture of him hanging out in the trophy room. Mom put it up that, you know, he kicked 37 over the fence in kickball, and you know, he's sitting there holding the ball with 37 over the fence. But you know, Mickey Jr., he was just natural like Dad too, I think, and I think it's just really sad that he didn't get to play. He tried it for a while, but I don't know what the pressure would have been like.
And any of the grandchildren, or I don't know if there's great grandchildren now that got the gene, the Mickey Mantle baseball gene.
You know what's really kind of sad is, you know, Dad and Mom, they had all boys, and then Dad's sons and Mom's sons, we all mainly had daughters, and Danny's got one son. That's it. We got one man to carry on the name. So we take care of him.
Does he play ball, or was he a ball player?
He did play some football and baseball, but you know, the generation's a little different, and Danny didn't force it on him. He's kind of into other stuff, you know, like kids today. Sits on the computer.
You know, your grandfather, the story goes, would have your father play baseball every day with him, and he really trained him. And your father had, I guess it was 6 kids altogether.
Yes.
And how come he picked your father as opposed to one of his brothers, or your grandfather just knew it?
Dad was the oldest. Theodore was his like stepbrother. Mutt's wife Lovell, she had been married before, so Theodore was like a stepbrother, or or is it a half brother? Whatever it's called, I get confused with that. But so Dad was the oldest. Really, that he saw potential, and you know, he had his grandfather to pitch to him. I think it was left-handed, and then Mutt would pitch to him right-handed. I hope I got that right, or other words, it's reversed. But every day when he'd get home from school and finish his chores, and Mutt would get home from the lead and zinc mines there, man, they played till dark pitching to him. And we were talking about that the other day, me and Danny, about how Mutt, he just knew that there was going to be a thing in baseball where, you know, being a lefty and a righty is going to really help. And man, him foreseeing that made Dad.
And he was pretty tough on your dad, your grandfather, right?
Oh, well, Dad was tough on us too, but you know, he didn't force us into baseball. But Mutt was, you know, that was those times then, and they were hard times. I mean, Dad would talk about how all the sons, they had to sleep in one bed, and they would fight. If it's wintertime, they'd fight to get in there first, so they'd be in the middle. They'd be warm. But you know, he said they still had the cold oil lamp, the outhouse, you know, the pump at the kitchen sink for water. It was you know, so he grew up not too easy. You know, that was the time in America.
And you know, he was always very fast. They called him the Commerce Comet.
That's right. I tell you, that was just something natural. But you know, Dad, he taught it to us too. But I don't think we caught on like he did. Dad was so determined, to make his dad proud too, and just, to be the best he could be. But being fast like that was just a God-given trait.
What are the pros and cons of having such a famous parent?
I tell you what, I can remember us, going to school, and I was at having my birthday party, and one of my gifts, a kid talked me out of it, and he wasn't really that good a friend, but we always, of course, Dad probably had no telling how many people use him, but even as we get older, we still see people trying to use us for whatever, and Dad's not even here.
Wow.
One kid, he goes, man, when am I going to get to meet your dad?
Well, people could say some pretty mean things. So,
oh yeah, they didn't really mean it, but hey, I was that step to get to dad.
MacuHealth, your science-born and tested solutions for visual performance, macular degeneration, and dry eye syndrome. New products coming soon. Embrace the science.
The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information.
Rub your eyes often? Blurry or double vision driving at night? Red light, stop. You may have keratoconus, a progressive eye disease which can cause vision loss. Visit coulditbekc.com to take the quiz.
If you rub your eyes and are experiencing changes to your vision, this may be a symptom of keratoconus, a progressive eye disease that may lead to significant vision loss. Early diagnosis is important, so don't ignore the simple act of rubbing your eyes. Please visit livingwithkc.com. Your father, we talked a little bit before, but he was almost like a superhero. People just wanted to go next to him, and it was almost like a religious experience to be next to your father.
Oh yeah, it was but one thing good about Dad, he had like these he had a great personality, and he could joke with people, and he could talk. He was just people. He had that personality. He was always wanting to play a joke. And, I can remember when another one, Joe Pepitone, when he came to the Yankees, he was the first one to bring a hairdryer into the locker room. And I can remember that they put like some kind of powder or something in them. So when he turned it on, it blew on him.
And Pepitone was known for having fake hair, right? He wore it too.
Yeah, he had his hair.
Yeah.
And everybody else, Dad was, like I said, he wouldn't approve of this beard, or I still have short hair, but I can remember he let us kind of slide during our high school years, but he just kind of, I guess, accepted it. But man, there for a while we couldn't have hair over the ears or anything. So I mean, that was good, I think, to be he was raised real tough too, so that's how he did us.
So there was a story, and I don't know if you remember it, but I guess they were on the bus, and Phil Linz was playing the harmonica, and the manager at that time, I think it was Yogi, and they said, "What did he say?" And he said, "Play it louder."
Yeah.
Do you remember that story?
I think it's Dad, or was it? Maybe it was Yogi that said it, but they were getting kind of tired of it, and I remember Dad talking about it once. I hope I don't mess it up, but they were on that bus, and I don't know why he decided to start playing a harmonica. But man, I guess maybe they lost. I don't know. But they weren't in too good a mood, I guess, to hear a harmonica.
And I guess the manager got mad at Phil Linz for playing louder.
Yeah.
So what was Phil Rizzuto, and what was it like when someone like Phil Rizzuto would come over the house or spend some time with the family, someone who became such a great announcer for the Yankees? he actually became part of the family, and your father actually became announcer later on.
Yes.
What was it like that with Phil?
I tell you what I really remember the most about Phil is the spring trainings. He would always, after they'd get back from the field or practice or whatever, they'd all come out and, lay out by the pool and get on the beach with us and all that stuff. But Phil always seemed to always kind of talk to us and play shuffleboard. And, but what was sad, or not sad, but it was funny, at least to us, but the Ford boys, Tommy and Eddie, they knew that Phil hated bugs and stuff. And he's out there laying down one time and they dropped a lizard on his chest. And I bet he made it to the ocean in 0 flat. But man, even his daughters messed with him. They put a snake in his suitcase when they were getting ready to go on the road.
So they had all these kind of practical jokes. Was there anybody that was like really, really serious and you couldn't even joke with them at all?
Joe D. I don't think so. I think they were all, they like to have fun, and, they were a family. They really were. And it's like, you were talking about earlier, we made sure we put on Dad's plaque at the burial site that, a true teammate. And I consider they were all true teammates. They, like I said earlier, they were a family. And it just, I think that's one reason they won. They didn't want anybody to be traded. They loved each other. They hung out together. Today's, I don't know if they really hang out with each other. I mean, back then, it's like I said, in the off time, at spring training stuff, and they were all back at the hotel, having fun around the pool, joking everybody, being on the beach and stuff like that. It's just, I don't really see that today. I don't think there's that, I hate to say it, but, hey, it's too bad Dad and them didn't make that kind of money. But, maybe people don't want to get too close to other people, because, shoot, their contract's up and they're gone.
Yeah, I guess, now these guys are making so much money and they have to take such good care of their bodies, or they might not make the money, so they really take good care of themselves. Back in the day, did they know anything about nutrition or doing anything to try to take care of themselves? Did your father lift weights? Because your father would hit the ball.
No, he didn't lift weights as far as I know. Maybe he did a little bit for rehabilitation from the injuries. They might have had him do it, but it's too bad he didn't probably listen to him more about the what to do, healing from a surgery or whatever. But man, he got all his muscles. He was working in those lead and zinc mines too with his dad. There's a picture that I saw it again the other day. I was looking at it. That picture of Dad leaning with his arm on that mining truck, and he's all got overalls on and got, the smudges on the face and wearing the gloves and stuff. Man, he was, busting those rocks.
And your dad wasn't really that big, right? He was like 5'11", 190.
5'11", 6 foot, maybe. Yes. And I think he weighed, was it 195?
Was Roger pretty big? Was Roger pretty big?
No, he was about Dad's size.
Oh, is that right?
In fact, he was just as tall, but I think Dad was a little bit bigger in the chest and stuff. But Roger, had that good swing too.
And what was it like when the two of them had the competition, Roger and your dad, going for Babe Ruth's record?
That year that they did it in '61, they lived together that season. And Dad would, come in and goes, hang on just a second. Okay, I'm sorry. Somebody just called. That's what's bad about doing it on the phone.
No
but Dad walked in there and gave Roger the paper. He goes, "Look, man, we're fighting." But they were good friends. And just kind of like the movie. When Dad was in the hospital, Roger there, but Dad did say, he goes, "Roger, go get him."
And, when Roger hit that 61st home run, I guess it was the last day of the season, the stadium wasn't even full. There was only about like 24,000 people there.
That's crazy. Like in the movie it showed it was just, I don't know why they weren't getting the crowds in. I really have no idea about that. I can't figure out. Maybe you all can, but I don't know why. They had a great team, and I mean, you had this home run stuff going. Maybe it was just a tough time or something like that, and nobody could get to the game. But I've never understood that, why that like we went out there to watch Judge, like I was saying, in the Arlington ballpark, and that place was standing room only too.
Right.
And everybody wanted to be out there where the ball might go.
It's funny because as Judge was getting close to the record, he hit 59, and he seemed to be really pressing. He kind of went into a slump, and he kind of just made it. And I thought it carried on into the playoffs a little bit. I don't know if you watched the playoffs with the Yankees, but it seemed like it affected him, the pressure.
Oh, just think about Roger too. I just remember Dad saying with Roger, he was losing his hair and all that. It's just, every day it was, something else about him being in the paper, it's kind of like I'm with Roger and them, people were still with Babe Ruth.
And why do you think people were rooting for your father to break the record, but they were rooting against Roger to break the record?
I don't know. I think maybe I wish they both would have done it. Maybe if Dad hadn't gotten injured, they would have. He was had 54 when he got injured and couldn't finish the season. But I really don't know.
When your dad had 54, how many did Roger have at that time?
Oh God, I think he only had like he wasn't too far behind. That's what I meant. Probably like 52 or something like that.
Oh, so your dad was actually ahead of Roger at that time.
Yeah, just by a 1 or 2 or something. I can't really remember, but at the time when he got injured, Dad was ahead. I got it right.
Your dad seemed to be kind of like the pressure with the pressure, he would actually do better, not worse. He was one of those special people.
I do remember this, back in 61, Dad said, hey, there was no pressure on him. He goes, man, they were all booing Roger. He goes, man, this first year I haven't been booed. So, I'm enjoying it.
And what do you think was the people like your father, Tiger Woods, that do better under pressure? What do you think it is that they have that they're able to do that and they don't tense up?
It's just determination and the mindset. It's just, like how did Dad put up with all those injuries? I mean, one day I was getting ready to go to school. I think I was a senior, and I was leaving, and he was on the couch sitting there watching the morning news. And he goes, David, come here. I want to show you something. I sat next to him. He took his right leg. He like pushed it down, turned it all the way to the left, turned it all the way to the right. And then he like sticks it back up. I'm going, and he didn't say nothing else. And I said, I'll see you after school. Man, I don't know why he showed that to me. He had little ways to teach us, man. He always said, take the pain.
And I guess his first major injury was when he stepped on the grate in the outfield.
Yeah. And, even Willie Mays, we were talking about this last weekend too at that card show. Willie Mays even said, I think it was Willie that hit the ball, that Joe D called him off too late. And, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Joe D again. They were teammates, but a lot of fans kind of got, that were Mickey fans. And even the players said that, he called him off too late.
Back then it was Mickey and Willie and I guess Duke Snyder.
Yeah.
And, it was like everybody would argue who was the best player of the three of them.
Oh, well, you got 3 teams in New York. Of course, New York was big enough to support 3 teams. But, those were some great rivalries. But, it's so funny, you probably no telling me fights there were at the bars around town. If they were Mickey fans, Willie fans, Duke fans, no telling how many fights there were.
And I mean, for like somebody who's actually the person like your father or Willie Mays, and people are fighting about who's better. I mean, what do they think about that? Are they thinking like this is like the stupidest thing that people are fighting about who's better, me or Willie Mays?
God, you saying that I can remember Dad saying to me, man, that's stupid. And but I guarantee you they thought that Dad's going, hey, we're all just we're paid to do do our thing, and that's what they did.
You think because your dad came from a small town and he grew up the way he did, and now he goes to New York and there's all these lights and all these beautiful things, is one of the reasons that he would party so much?
I don't know. I think, of course, going to New York and then seeing all the skyscrapers and this and that, and then, everybody pulling on his sleeves to say, hey, as he started getting more famous, hey, come out with us, this and that. And then I don't really know how to do that, or say about that, but I do. Dadgummit, what was I going to say? I hate when this happens.
No, I mean that your dad was this young kid who happened to be a great baseball player, goes to New York, and it just would make sense that it would be hard for a 19, 20-year-old kid. I mean, he's just a kid. I mean,
yes,
he's a baseball player, and to the public, he's a superhero, but he's just a person. And it's easy to start drinking and going out and partying with your friends who are also, these famous people.
Yeah. And, there were people that, like I said earlier, that would use you, people that, he thought was his friends, that weren't on the team, and would take him out, and he just started getting that. But I started telling people, Dad did not like drugs at all. And I don't think he ever took anything for the pain. And you know how alcohol is a progressive disease. I think that he started out, the alcohol was kind of like a painkiller for him. And it just, got worse.
And after he got injured in the outfield at that time, was he ever able to run as fast as he would before that, or that? What year was that when he got injured like that?
Oh, God, 51 was the first, or no, 52, I'm sorry, was the first year. And, but it just seemed like all through his career, something happened. I think that's another reason, like we were talking, fans loved him because he played injured. He told me one time, he goes, man, I didn't want to sit on that bench, because he goes, the guy sitting next to you could take your job. I mean, that's how good everybody was. And, they each respected that, but that's good. That's why Dad played. He goes, I'm playing every day because I'm not losing my job.
Really? He actually thought about losing his job.
Oh, yes. He said, that guy next to me could take my job.
One of the greatest players that ever lived, was worried about someone taking his job. That's
yes. And I think that's another reason why, that made him the Mick. And he had, like I said earlier, determination and courage. And I still, but talking about his speed, even with those injuries, there was another picture. I don't know, I keep going back to this, but I was looking at pictures all weekend of Dad. And, where he, he was left-handed. He could get to first base in 3.1 seconds, I think it was. And it's the picture of him. Man, he got to the bag right before the ball got there, but you could see the pain on his face from running.
Wow. And he would put down a bunt every once in a while.
Oh, yes. But, if you ever notice some of his bunts, he's already headed down that line, and that bat's the only thing over that plate.
I mean, he did. Back then, did they have batting coaches to help him, teach him how to hit, or it was just?
I'm sure they did. It's probably not like today, but they might even have their own personal batting guy. Who knows? But back then, they had their all their coaches and all that kind of stuff. So, but Dad was, I think after they kind of saw him, they kind of just left him alone, because he said, he goes, man, every time I went to the plate, I was up there to hit a home run. And he struck out a lot, but he hit some big home runs.
But he didn't strike out a lot compared to today's standards.
No.
I mean,
but oh shoot, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know. I was saying back then, but today he would be, they strike out 200 times now. Your dad never struck out 200 times, I don't think.
I don't think he did, but he struck out a lot. But I think that's why he'd get those boos a lot. But especially at Yankee Stadium, I've never understood that why. Here the Mick is, but I think the booing made him stronger and more determined.
Rub your eyes often? Blurry or double vision driving at night? Red light, stop. You may have keratoconus, a progressive eye disease which can cause vision loss. Visit coulditbekc.com to take the quiz.
If you rub your eyes and are experiencing changes to your vision, this may be a symptom of keratoconus, a progressive eye disease that may lead to significant vision loss. Early diagnosis is important, so don't ignore the simple act of rubbing your eyes. Please visit livingwithkc.com.
Your eyes and your vision are under attack, damaging blue light from the sun. Your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
The All Eyes Visual Oil VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information. Fitting multifocal contact lenses presents a big opportunity to meet patient needs while growing your practice. Alcon is your partner not only with our innovative portfolio, but through e-learning. Learn to enhance your multifocal strategy today with the Alcon Experience Academy.
OIE Broadcasting is the emerging leader in social media. We use scientific entertainment to drive more patients into your office. Visit oiebroadcasting.com and sign up today.
Since I bought Safe For You, my dad makes me clean his boat.
Es natural y es un buen producto.
Every time I go back to school, my mom always makes sure that I have my Safe For You products. I bring extra, and my roommates certainly don't mind.
It's a good thing I had Safe For You to clean up after this little guy.
When my hands get dry, I like to wash them with Safe For You.
And most importantly, the reason why I buy Safe For You is because it's safe for me and you.